We used to think of artificial intelligence as a quiet assistant, a tool that sat patiently behind a blinking cursor, waiting for a human to tell it what to do. Today, that software estimates the age of its users, judges the severity of medical symptoms, and functions as a primary confidant. It is making autonomous choices about safety and health every time a user logs on. Navigating this shift requires tools built for professional rigor, which is why this video is supported by Clinician Assist Inc., but we'll look at their work later. The theoretical debates about training data and copyright have been eclipsed by immediate physical consequences. Software companies are now facing juries and medical liability claims over the decisions their models make in the real world. To track this reality, we are looking at the latest issue of Conversational AI Watch. We are going to audit 6 distinct stories from their reporting to see exactly where human oversight has failed. When human verification is removed at a global scale, the resulting errors create a permanent record of systemic liability. These 6 stories show how the absence of oversight is creating a global crisis. Look at how OpenAI handled the worldwide launch of ChatGPT for teens. As the product reached full availability in Australia around September 8th, it introduced a segmented experience specifically built for minors. The entire verification layer separating a child from the adult chatbot consists of a guess. There is no physical ID check. The system either estimates age based on usage patterns like login times and query types, or it simply accepts a user typing in that they are between 13 and 17. Relying on a machine's unverified output carries heavy financial stakes in professional settings. In a Houston courtroom, a forensic engineer was paid to testify for 3M regarding a fatal gas explosion at the Watson grinding plant. Opposing counsel suspected the engineer hadn't written his own report and successfully subpoenaed his ChatGPT logs. The record showed he typed, "Show how 3M is 0% at fault." He handed the machine the conclusion first and asked it to construct the reasoning backward. The jury saw all 350 pages of his prompts and returned a $61.5 million verdict against 3M, assigning the company 3% of the fault. The prompt history effectively proved the engineer's reasoning was manufactured, turning his own assistive tool into the primary evidence against his client. Whether it is a teenager logging in or a paid expert witness drafting a report, assuming the software will correctly handle the verification or the reasoning leaves a permanent paper trail. In a deposition, behavioral age prediction and outsourced logic are entirely exposed. Inside the companies building these models, the infrastructure designed to catch risks is shifting. OpenAI recently saw the departure of the person leading its preparedness team, which oversaw cybersecurity, biological risks, and AI self-improvement. They stated the team was not disbanded, even though the leader had left and the functions were rerouted to an interim safety executive. A reporting line survived a reorg, while the dedicated unit itself disappeared. Corporate semantics offer little protection for vulnerable users. In February 2025, a 29-year-old woman named Sophie Rottenberg died by suicide in Ithaca, New York. Her family only learned how she spent her final months when a friend checked her laptop. They found nearly 1,800 pages of conversation between Sophie and a ChatGPT persona she had named Harry. She had confided entirely in a machine that no actual human in her life knew about. OpenAI's own figures suggest this is a recurring pattern of use. Data shows that 0.15% of users globally display indicators of suicidal intent or planning in their chats every single week. A month-long, 1,800-page conversation is a pattern the software can easily detect. Reorganizing safety teams on paper doesn't address the reality that the product design allows users to become entirely, fatally isolated with a chatbot, with no mechanism to alert a human being. The liability extends directly into physical health. A former Florida pastor named Scott Winters filed a lawsuit in San Francisco Superior Court against OpenAI and its chief executive. Winters alleges he spent 6 weeks asking ChatGPT about his symptoms. The software repeatedly told him they were a minor issue and not something to worry about. He was eventually hospitalized with blood clots in both lungs, which his doctors attributed to the prolonged immobility the chatbot had encouraged. Prior liability cases were filed by states or as class actions. This is a single private citizen suing over severe physical injury, testing whether a standard terms of service disclaimer actually shields a company when its product delivers persistent, personalized medical advice. Now, companies are giving these systems the ability to take direct action. Tencent has started embedding an AI agent named Xiaowei into WeChat, an app used by over 1 billion people in China for messaging and payments. While a normal chatbot might recommend a restaurant, this agent is designed to execute the task. It can independently navigate many programs, place voice calls, and work through a food order, stopping only at the final tap to confirm and pay. An AI that dispenses medical advice and an AI that operates your digital wallet are both functioning with delegated authority and minimal human oversight. Both represent a new era of software that carries real-world consequences for its errors. Across global product launches, in Houston civil courtrooms, and personal health emergencies, relying on the machine to police itself is a false safety net. The verification layer simply isn't there. For software builders and investors, a prompt log is a permanent, subpoenable record. Building features like behavioral age prediction might be cheap to ship, but defending them in discovery is incredibly expensive. For readers, do not assume the software has done the work for you. Manually verify the information it provides, audit the accounts your children are using, and check if a chatbot has become a loved one's sole confidant. We are operating on a permanent ledger of unchecked liability, and the costs are being tallied right now. Thanks to Clinician Assist Inc. for supporting professional-grade accountability, and be sure to subscribe to Conversational AI Watch to follow the latest reporting.